So this is from another section of the Bhagavad Gita, another sloka in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, the Yoga of Wisdom. Seeing the same in pleasure and pain, gain and loss, victory and defeat in battle, just for the sake of the battle, then you will be sinless. I want to just focus on that particular sloka for this class, and I'll continue to read it throughout the class. It's kind of, for me, as I looked at it, I felt a sense of equanimity. Listen to it again. Seeing the same in pleasure and pain, right? Usually we chase after pleasure and we run away from pain. But this is saying seeing the same in pleasure and pain, gain and loss. Usually we want to gain things and we don't want to lose stuff. Victory and defeat. It's the other pair, victory and defeat. We want to be victorious and we never want to experience defeat. Right? And it talks about this in the context of a battle. So what are the battles that you're fighting? We all have battles that we're fighting. And in any battle, there's going to be gain and loss. There's going to be victory and defeat. There's going to be pleasure and pain. It might be solely on one side or the other side. And this is a sloka that invites us to see these pairs of opposites, these dualities, as the same. This is really a powerful teaching. And we can see this even crop up in our yoga practice. So when we're on the mat, there might be some poses that we do that we feel like we're not doing them as good as we want them to do. We haven't mastered them, something like that. So we can experience this even while we're doing yoga and see if we can see all of those things, all of those opposites as the same. Let's try that out. So let's start out just checking in with our own physical body by coming to a meditative posture, whether you're sitting in a chair or sitting on the floor. I invite you to sit up a little taller. Notice your physical body. Notice any feelings that come up for you with regard to your physical body. Pleasures or things that are unpleasant when you think about your body. When you as you're feeling your body as well. So it's not just thinking about it, but actually feeling your body, feeling sensation in your body. That might start with the sensation of your seat, sitting on the floor or sitting in a chair. Do you feel pleasure, pain? Maybe neither. Just simply sitting here. What sensations do you notice? Are they pleasurable and painful? Can you see them, whether they're pleasurable or painful, as the same? Not to chase after the pleasurable sensations or run away from the painful ones. Just on a very basic physical level, just noticing sensation in our physical body. And let's shift now our awareness, just gently coming into awareness of our breathing. And here too, noticing whether it's pleasurable or painful to breathe, or perhaps neither. If it's pleasurable, to see it as the same as painful. If it's painful, to see it as the same as pleasurable. Now let's move our awareness into our mental body, our thoughts, our mind, noticing whatever thoughts are coming up for you, if any, whether they invoke pain or pleasure, whether they're positive or negative, and to see them all as the same. Uchiyama Roshi calls thought secretions of the brain. Can we see our own thoughts as simply secretions, like we have perspiration secreted out of our skin pores, tears out of our eyes, saliva from our mouth? Thought is just another secretion, nothing special about them. Okay, let's shift again to our body, our physical bodies, just to begin to do some slight movement. So I'm starting by circling around, just making some circles. You're welcome to join me, and then again, keeping in mind the importance of making this your practice. So you're in charge of how much you decide to do, and you can always take time to rest if you need to. One guideline I like to keep in mind is to make friends with your own physical body. Make friends with your body rather than fighting against how it is. To befriend your body, to befriend where you are in your body, to befriend where your body is in you. And then coming back to center, pause for a few moments here. And then let's rock the body forward and backward a little bit. It's a little bit of rocking here, forward and backward. And then back to center. Moving into our mid-back. So some seated cat-cow. You could do this in a chair or on the floor. And to start with, just holding onto your knees and rounding your back. Holding onto your knees and rounding your back, tucking your chin in. And then lifting your chin, drawing your sternum forward. And continuing with this motion. Get a sense of your physical body. And then let's come back to center and move into our neck. We'll start out by rolling our shoulders a little bit. And if you like, you could even bring your hands to your shoulders and circle your elbows. Just beginning to approach the bottom of our neck, where our neck meets our shoulders. Feel free to circle the opposite direction if you'd like. And again, feel free to lower your hands down. And when you're ready, move into some chin rolls. So bringing your chin to one shoulder and then rolling it down towards your sternum. As you roll down, you might notice some sensation in the back of your neck as you kind of let your head rest here.
our head is the weight of a bowling ball, and so if we just bring our chin to our sternum and let it rest there without any muscular engagement in our neck, you might feel some pulling in the back of your neck. And then bringing your chin up to the opposite shoulder, and then back down again. And up to the shoulder you started with, and back down. So feel free to move at your own pace here. Chin going from left to right. And noticing how the back of your neck feels here. I'm noticing a lot of stiffness in the back of my neck today. Just because of the way I've been using my back recently. And boy, I tell you, it feels good for me anyways, just talk about pleasure and pain. How do I see that as the same as pain? Pleasure as the same as pain. Just kind of let go of trying to get pleasure and trying to avoid pain. Let's continue. If you'd like, you can bring your chin up towards the ceiling. It's kind of making a full circle, and then back around. And you're just kind of making a full circle here with your chin. If you feel pleasure in any of these poses we're doing, I invite you to stay longer. If you feel pleasure there, a sense of pleasure might not be the best word, but spaciousness. If you feel a sense of spaciousness or ease in your body in particular poses, I invite you to stay there longer if you'd like. And if you feel pain in some of these poses, or a sense of tightness, a sense of dis-ease, I invite you to let go of that. Let go of that pose. If the pose brings on pain, you may want to consider letting it go. But keep in mind, too, that pleasure and pain are subjective. And what one person thinks of as pleasurable, another person may not, and vice versa. So another way to think about our yoga practice is to consider the terms space and ease. Creating space or inviting space to be present in our body. Okay, done some neck movements, some neck rolls. Let's move to the top of the mat for a sun salutation. And as we come to stand, maybe lengthening our back up, drawing our palms together, bringing them close to the heart. Find your breath here. And let's extend forward, up, inhale. Little back bend. And on the exhale, releasing the hands, the arms down towards the feet. Opening up the back side of the body, from the backs of the legs and the whole of the back. Maybe not your low back. So if you have a tall spine like mine, just bringing your hands to your shins and kind of having your back out long like this might prevent excessive stretching of this low back area here. So an injury that can happen with yoga is overstretching these low back muscles. We want to be careful about that. Instead, what we want to do there is we want to strengthen our low back muscles here. Do the work of strengthening these back muscles through back bends and stretching the muscles in the back of our leg. Okay, and then Bringing the hands all the way down to the mat. Let's slide or step the left foot back as far as it'll go, lowering the left knee down. Maybe lifting the chin up. Take a breath in here. And on the exhale, step or slide the right foot back to meet the left. Making your body into an upside down V shape. And breathe. Okay, let's go ahead and lower the knees down. Engage your core here, bending your elbows. Strengthen, strong through your shoulders. So as you're on all fours, see if you can engage your shoulder muscles, kind of drawing them inwards, drawing your elbows inwards as you lower down onto your abdomen. Bringing your chin or forehead down, then peeling your sternum up off of the mat. Breathe, take a breath in here. And then return to downward dog. Exhale into downward dog. When you're ready, slide or step your left foot forward, lowering your right knee down. And breathe. Just opening, softening the abdomen here as you breathe. Softening the muscles in your face. And stepping or sliding your right foot forward. Reaching the hands up, overhead. Breathe in, little back bend. And palms together in front of the heart. And let's try that again. Extending arms forward and up, breathe in. Folding forward, exhale. Stepping or sliding the right foot back, breathe in. Left foot back, breathe out. Lowering down knees, chest and chin. Inhale up. Exhale to downward dog. Stepping or sliding the right foot forward, breathing in. And the left foot forward, breathing out. Inhaling the arms up. Exhaling palms together in front of the heart. Just another invitation to go at a pace that works for you for this next one. I'm going to go we'll do 2 more of these sun salutations. I'll be doing them a little bit faster. If you want to change your pace, that's totally fine. We'll meet at with hands together in front of our palms. Okay? So when we get here, we'll just pause for a little bit. So let's start with palms together in front of the heart. Take a moment to notice, you can press your hands, your thumbs against your sternum, and just feel that contact, sensation there where your thumbs meet your sternum. Okay, let's begin. Inhaling up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale the left foot back. Exhale the right foot back. Lower down knees, chest, and chin. Inhale for a cobra. Exhale for downward dog. Left foot forward, inhale. Right foot forward, exhale. Arms up overhead, inhale. Palms together, exhale. And let's come together, meeting it with the palms together in front of the heart. Breathe. All right, number 2. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale the right foot back. Left foot back, exhale. Lower down knees, chest, and chin. Inhale, up, upward dog or cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Right foot forward, inhale. Left foot forward, exhale. Arms up overhead, inhale. Palms together, exhale. And pause here again. Okay, let's try some strength and balancing poses. So we're going to start out with chair. For this one, making the feet a little bit wider. maybe about shoulder width apart, bending the knees, kind of drawing the tailbone out as though you're going to sit down, and the arms come out like armrests of a chair. And kind of make your wrists limp here. Let's hold that. Feel the strength in the thighs here. We're kind of leaning back a little bit so that the weight of your body comes on the heels rather than the balls of the feet. And 3, 2, maybe squatting a little bit more. 1, and come on back up. Stand. Just take a moment to rest. Okay, this next one is a balancing pose, strengthening pose, and also a hip opener. So we're doing all 3 of those in one. And if you need to hold on to the wall for this, go ahead and do that. So start out in chair, bending both knees, bringing the right foot on top of the left knee. Just turn it for you a little bit. And then reaching the arms forward. Get a little bit of a hip opener here. If you want to press down just very gently on your right knee, get a little bit of a hip opener. Sitting back also can help open the hips. Arms forward, strengthen that left thigh. Feel that there, the balance of standing on one leg. See if you can breathe evenly here. 3, 2, 1. And let's stand back up. Remember that verse from the Bhagavad Gita, seeing victory and defeat as the same. However we just felt about that asana we just did, whether we did it well according to our own ideas or judgment, or we did not do it well, consider it both the same. Let's try the other side. I'm bringing my left foot up on my right knee. Right. Find the balance before you try to sit back too much. And then reaching the arms forward. Kind of sitting back, get that little hip opener going. Maybe pressing that left gently down, that left knee gently down. And even just squatting a little deeper can give a nice stretch to the left hip. 3, 2, 1. All right, let's come on back up. From here, reaching the arms up overhead. So making the body really long and holding that. It's lengthening upwards. Okay, from here, let's do a little bit of a back bend. Do some back bend work here. So you can make your feet a little wider if you'd like, and kind of kicking out your hips. So drawing our core forward, engaging our core here. As we, how high you have your arms is up to you. And how much you bend is also up to you. We're just kind of playing around with a little bit of a back bend here. So lifting the chin up as you reach back. And the bend isn't so much from your low back as much from the upper back. Okay, so let's try that. Reaching the arms up. Engage your core. Kicking out the hips a little bit. It's fun to do this on the wall. So if you have a wall nearby you, do this next to a wall. Just kind of see how far back you can bend. Just playing around, maybe just doing that another 20 or 30 seconds, just playing around on the wall. You can start out like being right next to the wall, maybe flipping your hands so your fingers are pointing down. And if it's too much, you just kind of walk your feet closer to the wall, rest on the wall. The wall it can be a great friend, help us out here. All right, so reaching up, maybe leaning back, engage your core as you lean back. Drawing your sternum up. Walking your feet back, just see how that feels. You might feel maybe a little bit of a stretch even in the low back. So let's do a counter stretch to that. If you have a chair, and bring your hands to the top of the chair and walk the feet back. So kind of coming into a standing form of downward dog. And it's kind of gentle stretch on the low back. Feel free to bend your knees here and breathe. And then walking our feet forward and back to the mat. Okay, let's step the right foot back, left foot forward, just kind of coming down on our right knee. And we'll try another back bend. This is monkey. And to start with, as you bend the left knee, you might feel that engagement of your right hip. It gives a nice stretch to those hip flexor muscles right here. And they get understretched often because we're always sitting in chairs. This is an opportunity to give those hip flexors, psoas muscle, a stretch. Okay, and then when you're ready, reach the arms up. So we're drawing the sternum forward. So continue to feel that stretch there. We're just adding in a little bit of a back bend. So locking the thumbs, lifting the chin, engage your core, and breathe. Breathe evenly here. And then coming out of the pose, bring the head back up, lower the hands to the knee, bring the hands down to the mat, step or slide your left foot back to meet your right. And let's pause in child's pose, bringing the sit bones to the heels and at your own pace, lowering your head down. I'm just widening my knees a little bit, coming down to my elbows, just at your own pace here. Just give the back a little bit of a massage, the hips a little bit of a massage. And then let's try the other side. We'll start out in downward dog. And then sliding or stepping the right foot forward, lowering the left knee. When we do the other side, it's a nice counterbalance to the hip that we were just stretching, that psoas muscle. All right, and then bringing the hands to the knee. Root down, root that left knee down. And lowering your hips a little bit. Then let's reach the arms up, overhead lock of the thumbs, lift the chin for monkey. Okay, when you're ready, release the hands back to the knee. Bring the hands back down and slide or step the right foot back. Let's make our way into child's pose. Okay, let's try maybe one more seated back bend. This is camel. So for camel, we bring our heels up, so the toes are curled under the feet. I'll actually show you a couple ways to do camel. One way is to curl your toes under your feet, reach back with one hand. See if you can grab hold of your ankle. Then take the other arm, reach it back. Really engaging your thighs here, pressing your sternum forward, lifting the chin up. Okay, and then let's lift the head. Release one arm. And we're reaching forward, maybe coming over to one side, and then back down, and lifting the head slowly, gently, releasing the other hand. Okay, that way requires not as much core strength or thigh strength. If you want to try another way, we can do it bringing both hands back simultaneously. And this might be more of a challenge here, just kind of engaging our core muscles a little bit more. Drawing the hips forward as we lean back. And then again, pressing the sternum up. Coming out of the pose, lift the head. Engage your core. Maybe even coming back down a little bit. So I'm just kind of drawing my head forward and then lifting up. Okay, one more way to do that is to uncurl your toes. And if this doesn't work for you, feel free to try one of the other ways. And same thing, reaching both hands back. Engage your core as you lean back. Take hold of your ankles. Coming out of the pose, release the head. You can kind of even sit back onto the heels. A very gentle way to come out of the pose. Let's make our way to seated posture. So you have something to sit on, a cushion or something. Go ahead and do that. Look at that verse again. Seeing the same in pleasure and pain, gain and loss, victory and defeat in battle, just for the sake of battle, then you will be sinless. I don't know if I resonate very much with the word sinless, but I would say equanimous. A sense of equanimity may arise in you if you see the same thing as you're going through these postures, as you're moving through these postures. If you feel like you've been defeated, to see that as the same as being victorious. That's the practice. That's yoga practice. That's yoga in practice. Okay, let's draw both feet forward. I'm going to do a little bit of a forward bend now, just a very gentle forward bend. So you could bend your knees if you need to here. And reaching your arms forward, rounding your back a little bit, letting your hands rest on your legs or on the floor in front of you. Tucking your chin in, rounding your upper back, drawing your head towards your knees, and breathe. So we've been doing some back bends, back strengthening poses. Now we're doing some forward bends to counterbalance those back bends. Okay, and coming out of that pose, that's called Paschimottanasana. It's a forward folding bend. And Paschimottanasana really invites you to kind of turn your attention inwardly. The physical posture itself is an inward facing posture. Let's try that again, just to notice that, when the position that we put our body in reflects the state of our mind. So when we're bending forward like this, as we move our physical body forward and kind of literally looking inwards, our mind is also, it's made conducive for our mind to do the same. And then coming out of that pose. So the backward bending poses that we've been doing, like camel, physically, we're orienting outward. We're creating space in our rib cage, right? And that can be reflected in the sense of spaciousness in our mind. And then to balance that out, we want to go the opposite direction, turn the attention inwards. You can't have outward without inward. We have both. You can't have space without no space. The two go hand in hand. And this verse in the Bhagavad Gita, pleasure and pain, victory and defeat, they're talking about the opposites. And what Hatha Yoga is this balance of opposites. Okay. So just take a moment to come to a seated position, a seated posture, upright. See if you can sense some balance, some sense of balance. Let's try another forward fold. This is Janu Sirshasana. So one leg is forward, the other leg comes in, and just very gentle forward fold over one knee. And reach the hands toward the knee, maybe bending your knee. Tucking your chin. And then as you're ready, coming back up. Pause here, rest. And then let's switch to the other side. And coming back up. Okay, we've bent our back forward and backward, and now we're going to do another movement, and that is a twist, so twisting the spine. These twists help to stimulate your adrenal glands. So let's bring the left leg forward, the right foot kind of right next to the left leg, kind of drawing the right knee in towards your ribs. So the right knee is bent. Sitting, if you have a cushion to sit on or a block, sitting right on the edge of that block. Wrapping your left arm around your raised knee, right hand behind you for support, supporting your back, and beginning to turn to the right, turning the body, the torso, the trunk to the right side. As you turn, consider lengthening your back. Consider lengthening your spine upwards. Coming back to center. Let's try the other side. Switching the legs. Right arm wraps around the left knee. Left hand behind the back and turning. Lengthening the spine up. See if that makes a difference for you as you turn. Notice any shifts or changes in the body. An easeful body helps them create a peaceful mind and a useful life. That's the theme of integral yoga. Easeful, peaceful, useful. Body, mind, and service to others are all intimately connected. And to the degree that we can find ease in our body, we can also find peace in our mind and an ability to serve others, to be useful to society. And coming forward again. So coming out of that twist. Let's do an inversion. So for our inversion for today, let's do a shoulder stand using a chair. So if you have a chair, any kind of a folding chair will do. Just turning this chair, so I'm facing the chair and bringing my legs right up close to the chair. I'm gonna sit down or lay my back down as I swing my feet up to the top of the chair, the folding chair. My head comes down and I'm grabbing hold of the legs, the front legs of the chair to hold the chair down and in place. You could stay here on your back, or a second option is to peel your back up off of the ground, walk your shoulders together a little bit, stretch out your legs, and feel that incline. Very restful for your heart muscle. Helps to stimulate the thyroid gland at the base of the throat. See if you can breathe evenly in this pose. See if you can find some rest in the pose. We'll just stay here another 15 seconds. If you need to come out sooner, that's fine. Okay, when you're ready, kind of rolling your shoulders outwards and beginning to lower your spine down, bending your knees, walking your feet in towards the top of the chair. Take a moment to rest with your back on the ground, your feet up. And then let's just take our legs off of the chair, roll to one side of your body, and then recenter on your mat. And let's move into deep relaxation. So You're welcome to stay on your back if you like. Maybe lowering lights in your room, making any other adjustments so that you find an opportunity to be at ease here. For this period, just simply being still for the next 2 minutes in silence, making it a point to really connect with any sense of wellness in your body-mind. And beginning to come out of this deep relaxation, or stay longer if you prefer. Rolling the arms and the legs. Coming to one side of the body, maybe the left side. And then working your way in your own time to a seated posture. Just take a few moments here to sit, remembering that sloka, it's sloka 38 in chapter 2 of the Bhagavad Gita. So find a good meditative posture, stability. See if you can bring some ease into your body and mind. Seeing the same in pleasure and pain, gain and loss, victory and defeat in battle. Just for the sake of the battle, then you will be sinless. Let's pause here and just sit for a few moments. Let's dedicate the merit of this practice. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May the entire universe be filled with peace and joy, love and light.